hard time at school. He couldn't do the same things that the other kids would do. Originally, the teachers thought maybe he was lazy because he wouldn't pick up his pencil to write when it was time to write in grade 1. And I think by the time we got to grade 3, we ended up changing schools because of the bullying. There was still some academic stuff, and we thought that the school wasn't giving him enough help, the special ed program, and we thought, well, maybe a different school will have different special ed, and maybe that will help things for Paul. And in beginning grade 3, I think it was his first week home, and he said, look over at the other kids, Mom, and they can all hold their pencils, and they're all writing and copying things off the board. And he couldn't copy anything off the board. He could, from the looking up and coming down, there'd be nothing on his page, a letter or two, and then, I don't know, another word, and things were all disjointed. He couldn't get it done. Because I had 2 other kids that were, 90 students that would just do their homework, and, occasionally when I understand one thing, I just, come and look over, oh, you just do that, but with Paul, we'd have to sit beside him for hours, trying to control our own emotions, because it would get so frustrating that he, just pick up your pencil, just read over here, look, I'm pointing to the word, B means B, can make that sound, and he couldn't do it. He wouldn't act out. But when he would come home frustrated. He'd cry, he'd yell. Yeah, we kind of felt like a failure, both of us, I think. Oops. But anyways, we feel good now. When you see that your child can be normal like everybody else, it's a good success. The money we spend here, I'm happy with, because I know some people can't. Not everybody can afford to invest that, but I think if your kid later on drops out of high school because they can't read or they can't write, they can't get those essays done in grade 9, that's why they end up being troublemakers or they skip class, because it's a struggle in class and they don't want to feel humiliated and that they don't match their peers. So he talks about when he goes to university and what is he, the types of things that he's going to do, because we know that it's going to be possible for him. So he had a nice report card. He had a whole bunch of A's, and I think he had 2 B's. I know that this program has saved Paul.
Kaylee loves coming to Breakthroughs. She loves the positive interaction between all the staff and herself. They all know her name. They all smile, and she smiles when she comes in to see them. We love to come in. The first person you meet is Miss Allie at the desk at the front office, and she's always has a smile, and she has just a loud, fun, boisterous voice to her, and so they make Kaylee feel right at home. Kaylee was very scared to take risks and to try anything new. To take that step, to come to a new place and meet new people and have a mentor like Sally, who really got to know and develop a relationship with Kaylee, has been a huge piece, and it's really helped Kaylee to develop in a lot of different ways. I am so thankful. Last night I took my 3 children out. Daddy was at work working night shift. My daughter Kaylee chatted, smiled, dominated the conversation all evening at the restaurant. She spoke to the waitress clearly, ordered her dinner and then her sister's dinner as well, insisted on taking my debit card, going up to pay at the counter, and then going to the movie store. She bought a movie, chatted to the lady about her Harry Potter movie. This was my daughter, who did not have the confidence to look people in the eye when she spoke a year ago. A couple of weeks ago, Kaylee and I sat at the piano. We sang and played Christmas carols together for about 45 minutes after practicing for the Christmas Eve piece that we were planning. This is my daughter, whose relationship with her mom had become so strained that it had sounded like constant bickering between us in our home a year ago. Kaylee then sang a solo of "O Holy Night" for our Christmas Eve service at church. This is my daughter, who had felt pressure at school over the last years, whose coping skills were so low that she hadn't risked to try anything new for years. A year ago. Yesterday she was excited to go skating with a friend. This is my daughter, who had become so withdrawn. She struggled to make and keep her friends a year ago. Her and I had a long talk the other day about her feelings. This is my daughter who couldn't process an answer to many of even my simple questions a year ago. Over the holidays, she cleaned her room when I asked her to. She ate properly, healthy. She was responsible for other tasks at home without being asked or not too often reminded during the Christmas holidays. And this is my daughter whose very poor judgment calls on personal health and habits had me frustrated daily a year ago. I noticed her going into the living room the other day with a little skip in her step like she used to have when she was smaller. And this is my daughter whose sluggish and lethargic behavior had us worried and at the doctor's getting blood tests to see what was wrong in her body a year ago. I noticed during the holidays, Kaylee had not only smiled every day, but I'm sure she's laughed and smiled every hour of every day. This is my daughter who a year ago wrote stories about suicide. I've truly had the best Christmas present this year that a mom could ever ask for. I'm so thankful.